So Linda asked me to speak about the why of the Little Purple Book. But first of all, I just wanted to remark just for a moment on this extraordinary moment in time that we're all living in. It really is quite remarkable. It's exhausting and it's surreal, but it's also exciting. Sometimes it's horrifying, but it's there's something happening. There really is something happening, and we're part of that. And it's an exciting thing, and it's something that's happening globally. And women are at the fore in many cases. And I'm so inspired. I just again today watched the video, some of you have seen it, of the Israeli and Palestinian women. They have a grassroots organization. There are thousands of them. And it's called Women Wage Peace. And they're trying to change the narrative of all of that, the conflict in the Middle East right now, and it's in Israel specifically. And so it's an incredible thing. And again, we're part of that movement. Okay, so again, Linda asked me to talk about the why of the Little Purple Book. So first of all, I think I need to answer the question, why the Little Purple Book? I gave my mother-in-law, who's 82 years old and who was going to be here tonight, but she wasn't able to because of her health issues. I gave her, as part of her Mother's Day present, a copy of the Little Purple Book. And the next day I was taking her to a doctor's appointment, and she pulled it out of her bag and she said, I brought this with me to read in the waiting room. And she said, I've looked at it and it's really wonderful. But why is it called the Little Purple Book? And it was one of those epiphanies. I thought we really should have included just a brief little explanation. It's one of those, it's kind of, we were in our own little echo chamber, and it's sort of an inside joke, I guess. But most people would not understand why this is called the Little Purple Book if you're not involved in Emweg.
Will you answer the question that's been plaguing everyone, why purple?
I am getting to that,
good.
Yes. First, why the Little Purple Book, and then why purple. So, the Little Purple Book, so purple is our color, as you can see from looking around, and I didn't have time to do laundry, so I had my earrings are purple though. So purple is our color, and so as we talked about this book, we just sort of referred to it as the Little Purple Book. And originally we conceived of it as being very small, like pocket size. A lot of you are familiar with On Tyranny, sort of that size. And it ended up having to be a little larger than we had anticipated, but we just started calling it the Little Purple Book, or the LPB. And then when it came time to actually figure out a title, we really couldn't think of anything else that seemed more fitting. So it is called the Little Purple Book, Emweg Essentials. And okay, so why a book? It's not like we were just sitting around twiddling our thumbs and didn't have anything else to do. And so we thought, why not write a book? No, we've been, as all of you have been as well, extremely, extremely busy for the last year and 4 months minus how many days, 11 days or something like that. But we knew almost from the beginning that we needed a book. And this little book is another Emweg miracle. There are lots and lots and lots of Emweg miracles, and this is another one because we really did not have time to write a book. None of us did, but somehow it got done. Thanks largely to Linda. So what we wanted to do, so we have a very specific vision at Emweg. And first of all, just out of curiosity, how many of you, Judy, hello! Hi. How many of you aren't familiar with Emweg? How many of you are not yet members of Emweg? Raise your hand high, don't be ashamed. Okay, good, yay! We're so glad you're here, welcome. Welcome, welcome, and hopefully before you leave you will be a member of Emweg. But we have a very, very specific vision. And because of the way Emweg came to be, which was really by accident, all right? No one set out to establish an organization or a movement at all. It just sort of happened, and it happened very, very quickly. For those of you that don't know our story, within a couple of weeks of starting our Facebook group page called Mormon Women for Ethical Government, we had over 4,000 members. And so it all happened very, very, very quickly. And we knew because of that, that we needed to sort of codify our vision. We have guiding principles that we adhere to. And so we wanted to somehow capture all of that and articulate all of that in a book form. Because one of the things that we do, we really want to empower individual women to be able to act as they feel impressed. And so these are the broad general guidelines within which you would need to work as an MWEG member. So any questions about that? I feel like there was something else I wanted to say about it. Oh, yes. So it wasn't written to be a moneymaker for us. It's being sold barely above cost. It's printed by a nonprofit press, by Common Consent Press. And so yes, we thank them for their incredible work. And it was another miracle, the fact that anyway, we won't get into that. But so again, we see this as sort of a handbook. And hopefully it's a little more engaging, literary even, than say Handbook 2. But basically that's what it is. It's our handbook. And so it's something that we sell just pretty much at cost because we want everyone, we would hope that all of our members would have a copy and even some extras so that they could give them away to people who might be interested in joining in our cause. So that's the why of the Little Purple Book. Now the contents, first of all I wanted to just really quickly say something else. I talked a little bit about how quickly this organization grew. We clearly touched a nerve. There were a lot of women who, and this was in January of 2017, shortly after the inauguration, there were a lot of women who were desperate for something like this. And I've got a 15-page, actually I think it's 17 pages now, single-spaced document on my computer of testimonials, I call them, that I've just gathered. Either people have sent these to me privately or they've been posted on our discussion forum. And I printed out just a couple of those, and I won't read names, I'll use first names. Some of these may be from some of you here in the room. These are responses from people. Jolene said, I would just like to say that I want to cry in relief that someone has organized this. Sharon said, this is an answer to prayers, not kidding. I was just thinking today, I feel like we need to have a Mormon political movement to share our voices with more power. Jennifer said, I feel like I just walked in the door to my sanctuary after a long, hard, sad, gritty, hot day. Thank you for adding me to this group. Emma said, so happy to be here. Like others, I want to cry in relief at having found you. Stacy said, so happy to have found this. Thank you for starting this. I'm here to fight with love and peace. Adrienne said, I'm happy to be here where civility and respect are valued. Kim said, I have truly felt alone and helpless to do anything of consequence during the last several months. A lot of us relate to this, don't we? This week has been frightening and disheartening. This was the week that all of the executive orders started to fly. Thank you for organizing this group to be both a sanctuary and a call to action. I love that, and we hope that's what MWEG is, both a sanctuary and a call to action. Heather said, thank you for taking a stand. I have felt so hopeless and have wanted so badly to do something, anything, to protect my blessed country and its values I hold so dear. I agree there is power in unity and organization, and I so appreciate the commitment to civilized discourse and nonviolence. We have work to do. Amy said, I feel like this group was quite literally an answer to prayer for me. Megan said, I was listening to Hamilton yesterday because, well, Hamilton. And these lyrics really struck me, especially For once in your life, take a stand with pride. I don't understand how you can stand to the side. I want to say thank you to all you amazing sisters for taking a stand and for helping me have the courage and find my voice and find my way to stand with you. I seriously hate calling people I don't know, but I just made 3 more phone calls to my reps today. And I have made others over the past week, and I will continue to do so. I love the phrase I've seen elsewhere on this page. I refuse to be complicit by being complacent. This individual is actually now one of our Utah our Utah chapter coordinators. And then Mary Jan said, I am in tears. I thought I was almost alone, and here are my sisters, already gathered, fair as the moon, clear as the sun, and terrible as an army with banners. So I wish we would have included some of these things in our little purple book, but second edition. That's right, second edition.
The big purple book.
The big purple book. Okay, so just really briefly, basically the book consists of, we talk about our vision and our mission, we talk about what we call our Genesis story, and I've told that story so many times, I'm not going to tell it tonight. Most of you here know it, those of you that don't can read it in the book. We talk about our 4 core attributes. So we call them our 4 core attributes. These are the attributes that really define our essence, who we are. We are faithful, we are nonpartisan, we are peaceful, and we are proactive. So we weren't created to just be another discussion group, all right? We are about taking effective action in nonpartisan, peaceful, faithful ways. We talk about the 6 principles of peacemaking that Diana's going to talk about. And then there's a section here that talks about our organizational structure and philosophy. There's some frequently asked questions. Then we have essays on each of our 6 principles of peacemaking. And then we have a beautiful message of peace to the world that was written by our very own goddess of words, Melissa, and she's going to read that to us later. And then we have some select Sabbath devotionals. One thing we've done on MWEG, we take Sunday off on the main page, but we do post each week a Sabbath devotional to sort of bring us back to that core attribute of faithful. And so we have some of those select Sabbath devotionals printed in the book as well. Okay, I just want to quickly talk about MWEG's organizational structure, and then I will turn the time over to Diana. So as a group of women, we sort of rejected early on the traditional hierarchical pyramid organization of corporate America. And as Linda put it, women work better with circles than with triangles. And so we decided to come up with a completely different kind of an organization. And so what we finally settled on, to use as sort of a metaphor, an image, is a tree. So MWEG is like a tree, this organic, cooperative, synergistic system where there's no one part is more important than another part. All parts of the tree are equally important to the overall health and success of the tree. So those of you that have a book, there's a copy of this, and if you were lucky enough to get one of the first, was it 200 copies? It will be in color, because that was a mistake. That we didn't have to pay for the mistake, because it wasn't our mistake. So if you didn't get one of those first copies, yours will be black and white. I apologize for that. So this is our stylized MWEG tree. So our roots, our foundational underpinnings are those 4 core attributes that guide everything that we do in MWEG. And then our strong, sturdy trunk, that consists of our internal support teams that are overseen by managing directors. And then we have 4 limbs that represent our objectives or our mission. And our objectives are 4, and they all start with E, conveniently. We encircle, we educate, we empower, and then we engage. So the branches of the limbs are our various committees and teams and chapters, and then each individual member of MWEG is a leaf, a wonderful light gatherer and producer of life-giving oxygen. So it's something that has come together and works well for us. One thing you probably need to understand is that MWEG was, again, it was an accident. We didn't ever mean to start a nonprofit organization. It was started by a group of writers. So I think that's pretty apparent in pretty much everything we do. We weren't business people. We weren't political science majors. We were writers who felt the call to wake up and to figure out how to mobilize and to become engaged in this great work of preserving our democracy. And although the purposes for MWEG are much larger than that, and we keep discovering what some of those additional purposes are.